elements. So I hate to do this, but some things you just gotta know. And this is one of them, okay? So let's deal with the metals first, because the metals are easy. All the metals are just gonna be metal, and then the state is solid. They're just found in that state. We just give them the single atom. They're not bonded together in molecules or anything, but there is one exception, okay? Which metal is a liquid at room temperature? It's mercury, right? That is a liquid. So that has the state symbol L. So there are three different state symbols: solid, liquid, gas, which is going to be the standard states of things, right? And they just come in parentheses after the element, okay? There is a fourth state symbol, which is not really used for elements because none of them are found in this state, if you like, but it's very useful for chemical reactions, which is AQ, which is aqueous, dissolved in water, because we've got loads of it hanging around. So that's not technically a state, even though we call it a state symbol, because it's a mixture, right? If something's dissolved in water, it instantly becomes a mixture. So all the metals are solid, room temperature and pressure. That is standard conditions, right? Standard conditions. There's a few different definitions of standard, but we'll stick to room temperature, 25 degrees Celsius, and pressure of 1 atmosphere, okay? So the non-metals is where it gets fun, because non-metals can be solids, liquids, or gases, okay? And they can also be found in the atomic form or the homonuclear diatomics. So the homonuclear diatomics, the way I've always remembered it, is have no fear of ice cold beer. Sounds very refreshing. So how does that help? Well, that tells you your 7 homonuclear diatomics, which is hydrogen, H2 gas, nitrogen, N2 gas, chlorine, F2 gas, O, got to be oxygen, right? O2 gas. I is for iodine, which is not a gas. It is a solid. Okay, I'll explain to you a good way of remembering that in a minute. Come here, box. Ice cold is chlorine, Cl2. That is a gas. And then beer is the bromine, which is a liquid. So there's only 2 liquids at room temperature and pressure in the whole periodic table, and that is mercury and bromine. Okay, so how do you remember that iodine's a solid and bromine is a liquid? If you go and take a look at the halogens, there is a trend going from top to bottom: gas, gas, liquid, solid. So fluorine, chlorine, gases, bromine, liquid, iodine, solid. Hopefully that helps. So there are a couple of other ones you need to know. So phosphorus, you may have heard this before. The solid form of phosphorus is P subscript 4. You've heard of like white phosphorus, red phosphorus, etc. So it forms these little P4 molecules, these units. And sulfur and selenium do the same thing. They are formed in these like crown-shaped molecules, which are 8 atoms bonded together. So S subscript 8 for sulfur, and selenium also forms these 8-membered crowns. So sorry to make you guys memorize stuff, but sometimes you just gotta. Okay, so now we can fill this out pretty easy because we learned all our stuff. So chlorine would be Cl subscript 2, and it's going to be a gas. Lead, plumbum, it's a metal, so it's just going to be lead solid. Thorium is also a metal, THS. So any of the metals, so thorium's down here in the actinides, right? It's just going to be a solid unless it is mercury. Okay, so let's do another one just so we can see what gets thrown at us. Okay, so boron, oxygen, and lead. So look at your periodic table if it helps you. That's not the thing I wanted. Right, so boron, over here it's one of the metalloids, so it's just going to be solid boron, okay? Oxygen, O2 gas. Lead we already did as a solid metal, so boron, S, oxygen, O2 gas, lead, Pb, S. Okay. All right, one more to see what gets thrown at us. Oh, we've had these before. Let's do another one then. Go on, make it exciting. Give me like phosphorus. So helium is a noble gas. Noble gases are just found as atomic gases like this. Same for neon, argon, krypton, etc. Carbon, just solid. And hydrogen is one of those homonuclear diatomic gases that we had to learn. Have no fear of ice cold beer. There is hydrogen there. Okay. I do believe phosphorus and sulfur do come up sometimes. So I'm just going to have a quick go, see if I can find them. Oh, there's phosphorus right there. Where's my eraser? So phosphorus would be P subscript 4 solid. Okay, so sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but sometimes you just got to learn stuff.